Hello, everyone. I am Mia Carberry, and I am here to talk about the impacts of climate change on humans. First, we will talk about the impacts of climate change on individuals. This includes the nonlinearity of climate change, the cost of cooling, and the impacts of precipitation changes due to climate change. Next, we will discuss the impacts of climate change on the national economies. This will include the cost of preparing for climate events like floods and storm surges, and the deadly consequences of heat, and the cost of natural disasters. Thirdly, we will explore the impacts of climate change on our world as we know it. This includes ocean acidification, sea level rise, and water scarcity. Finally, I will tell you why you should care. The effects of climate change are going to be nonlinear. This means that climate change will affect individuals only once it passes their climate impact threshold. Everyone has a different level of vulnerability, which is known as their climate impact threshold. Poorer individuals will suffer more than richer individuals, and people will be fine until they are not. It won't slowly get worse. It will be sudden events affecting each individual differently. Keep this in mind through the rest of the presentation. We are all familiar with the cost of cooling our houses during the summer. I know I try to put off turning on my AC for as long as possible. According to NerdWallet, the average American spends roughly $122 a month on their electric bill. Now imagine summer heat 365 days a year. That would certainly rise the cost of our electric bills. There is nonlinearity here. Poor individuals will suffer more than richer individuals. The most vulnerable may even die from heat-related issues if they are unable to afford to cool their house. When it comes to precipitation changes, they will not be distributed equally either. This is because as temperature increases, evaporation will also increase. Evaporation is equal to precipitation, so precipitation will also increase. Therefore, wet places will get wetter and dry places will get drier. This will result in an increase in floods, droughts, erosions, landslides, and water shortages. Damages from these events can be costly and deadly. For example, a single homeowner could spend up to $5,600 for water damages. Another example is that safe water scarcity killed 1.2 million people in 2017. Climate change is expected to worsen disasters, so these numbers can be expected to increase. Climate change is already costing cities billions of dollars in preparation for the cost of climate change. For example, Miami Beach has spent $500 million to elevate their streets and add pumps to mitigate flooding. Venice Beach has spent $6.2 billion to build barriers for sea level rising. Taxpayers are fitting the bill. You are already paying for climate change. The heat is already costing us money and lives. According to the World Health Organization, there is already an increase in heat waves, droughts, and wildfires. Just last year, this resulted in 4,000 deaths in Spain, 1,000 deaths in Portugal, 3,200 deaths in the United Kingdom, and 4,500 deaths in Germany. That is a total of 12,700 people dead due to heat-related consequences. The population is directly related to the GDP of countries, so that is a loss in money as well. Another way heat has lost us money is that in 2017, over 300 billion work hours were lost due to heat. If you multiply that by the national minimum wage in the US, that is a loss of over $2 trillion. While climate change is never the sole cause of any disaster, scientists know that climate change is making them more destructive. For example, with sea level rising, storm surges and flooding during hurricanes will be more severe. Droughts will also be longer and more extreme due to rising temperatures. We see this already in 2017 in Harvey and in 2018 in the California fire season, which costed $125 billion and $148 billion in damages, respectively. Let's examine what happens when a neighborhood floods. The neighborhood floods, property taxes decline, which fund schools, hospitals, etc. This results in social decay. As the neighborhood gets worse, education gets worse, healthcare gets worse, more people will leave, and the cycle will repeat until all that is left are people that are too poor to move. The community disintegrates. I have mentioned sea level rise a lot in this presentation. That is because it carries such heavy consequences. Sea level rising is a 100% guaranteed consequence of modern climate change. Sea level will rise for two reasons. As ice melts, the melt runs into the ocean, and as water warms, it expands. Higher sea level means more destructive storms and storm surges. It means continents will be reshaped. It means coastal property and infrastructure will be lost. These will all negatively affect the economy. Businesses will suffer, and then rebuilding and relocating will cost us millions of dollars. Another effect climate change will have on our oceans is known as ocean acidification. Our oceans absorb a lot of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and as it does so, chemical reactions take place and change it into carbonic acid. Ocean acidification will kill coral and other shelled fish that calcify. It has occurred in the past and has led to mass extinctions of species. Globally, about 1 million people rely on the ocean for their protein. That means that ocean acidification will weaken food security, and it will also cause massive job losses in the fishing industry. The last impact I will cover is water scarcity. As temperatures increase, droughts will be more common and glaciers will melt. As glaciers melt, the fresh water within will go into the ocean and become undrinkable, reducing our fresh water even more. Agriculture will suffer, businesses will suffer, and people will die due to lack of water. They already are. Like I said, in 2017, 1.2 million people died due to lack of access to clean water. So why should you care? First of all of the information I just gave you should probably make you concerned. But other than that, the current warming trend will remake the world we currently live on. And the faster it happens, the less time we will have to adapt to the changes. Human society has never faced anything like this before. We are adapted to our current climate, and it is arrogant to believe that adjusting will be easy. Here's my references, and thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a great day.